In this video, I want to talk to you about the muscle that you might be missing in order to get rid of your back pain. So let's go. Thanks for checking out the channel. My name's John. I'm the head therapist here at John W Sports Injury. Here at our channel, we are looking to do three simple things. Help you to understand your body so you can get rid of pain and weakness, and you can strive on to hit your sport, health and well-being goals. But today I want to talk about a key muscle that you might be forgetting in order to get rid of your back pain. And it makes sense that it's the muscle that is commonly forgotten, because the muscle actually sits on the front of our body, figuratively speaking. So the muscle we're talking about today is our hip flexors. Now, our hip flexors are made up of a few muscles. We have our iliacus, our psoas major, and our tensor fascia latae, also are a contributor to hip flexion, often known as TFL. But the big ones we're going to talk about are our iliacus and our psoas muscles. So our psoas muscles, which we collectively term iliopsoas, where are these muscles and why are they affecting your back pain? Well, they're the muscles that sit in the front of our hips here, and they cross over the hip joint. So talking about these muscles sitting in our front, the deep stomach muscle, why are they going to help my back pain? Well, the key thing to understand about these muscles is that they actually attach directly onto our lumbar spine, lumbar being our lower back. So difficult to imagine sometimes, but if you imagine ripping my stomach away and actually taking my stomach away to reveal my spine, that is where these muscles are coming in and attaching. So they cross the front of my hips here. And they bring about a leg lifting movement, but they're actually coming up and attaching onto my lumbar spine. So it makes sense that if these muscles are getting short, tight, they're going to be pulling on that lumbar spine and can cause us some dysfunction. Why do these commonly become a problem? Well, when we sit in hip flexion, particularly if we're not sitting ergonomically correctly. So as I sit here now, my hip flexors are under some tension in here. If I do that for 8, 9, 10 hours, that's going to be tight. Then when I go to move, I get this tight pull on my lower back coming from these muscles. So how do we go about correcting that? And these are things that you should be checking out on yourself if you're suffering with lower back pain, and if you sit a lot, and finally, if you haven't checked this area out already. So what we want to do is take ourselves into this sort of kneeling position. Now, we're going to talk about some variations of these stretches. So when I get into this position, I'm looking to stretch my left hip flexor. In fact, so if I go onto the other side as well, that might come through a little bit clearer. This side, I'm looking to use my right hip flexor. Now, you might have seen people getting into these really kind of aggressive stretches here, and that's fine. That will stretch our hip flexor. But what we might find with that one, or you might have tried this and find that to be too uncomfortable, because that can put some pressure in the lower back. So if you're suffering with lower back pain, really trying to get yourself into big amounts of extension can be quite sore. So let's start with some easier ways. Now, we know that they are the hip flexors that lift our hips. So what we want to do really is get ourselves into hip extension in order to stretch those muscles. So to get a bigger stretch without straining the back, all we can look to do is tuck our hips in. So you see that movement here. So I'm looking really just to tuck up my glutes in and to tip my hip into extension. So as I do that, I then feel that pull in the front of my hips here. Now, I can bring my hands above my head and take my chest backwards, and that stretch starts to increase. So stretching from the top, and the further I get those hips into extension, the bigger the stretch can become. And so what we're looking to do when we feel that stretching, again, we're not looking to cause too much pain here, but it's just to feel that muscle engage for about 30 seconds to a minute to stretch that out. Then you can just simply repeat onto the other side. So we get into this position, and said, just to repeat that, we tuck those glutes in and tip those hips backwards. So we're trying to get that hips backwards, and then we can drive forward to our back allows. We can involve our hands from the top and just look to stretch back as well, but not causing pain in the lower back. Where we want to be feeling those muscles pull is just right in the front of these hips here. So as we feel that stretch engage, we want to be holding that for 30 seconds. And that can be the key to unlocking your back pain. We're very good at targeting, perhaps stretching out our back muscles when we feel that back pain, but the problem might be coming from the other side. What we ultimately want to be achieving is a harmonious balance of this pelvis, so that the muscles that are pulling from the back, the muscles that are pulling from the front, are allowing that pelvis to be free and moving around as comfortably as we like, and having good mobility through our lumbar spine. So what we tend to find is that spine can lock up. Yes, that can come from muscles at the back, but don't forget those muscles at the front. Those psoas major or hip flexor muscles need to be addressed, particularly if you're sitting a lot of the time. Let me know how that goes. If you find suddenly that that's a big stretch in that area, that could really be a helpful thing in helping your lower back pain. Let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, but you think that this is the type of content to help you out, why not hit that subscribe button? And if you've made it this far in the video, well, that's great. Hopefully I've provided you some value. You can help the YouTube algorithm to show others by smashing that like button. I would really appreciate that. But most importantly, I look forward to seeing you on our next video.